It was the blueprint for a new America. High-speed trains, gleaming towers, and mega projects reshaping entire cities from the ground up. From desert chip plants to urban skylines, the vision was bold. But now that future is slipping through the cracks. Construction has stalled, budgets are collapsing, and public trust is vanishing fast. These 6 mega projects aren't dead, but they're on life support. And the countdown has already begun. And at the heart of Manhattan, one frozen platform captures just how quickly a future city can fall behind. In 2012, New York launched what would become the largest private real estate project in American history, Hudson Yards, a vision of a vertical city built above train tracks, fusing ultra-modern design with high-end living and commercial energy. Phase 1 delivered on that promise, to an extent. Skyscrapers rose. The vessel became an Instagram icon. Google leased space. But Phase 2, that's where it all stalled. This second phase was supposed to add 6 more towers, a public school, and 8 acres of green space, rounding out the neighborhood and connecting it to Penn Station. Today, the site is a construction platform with no workers and no timeline, just steel, concrete, and silence. COVID changed everything. Commercial real estate took a nosedive. Remote work became permanent. And suddenly, financing for ultra-luxury space didn't make sense anymore. Developers have officially paused construction, but insiders say the delay could stretch well beyond the decade. Without a major economic turnaround, Phase 2 might remain a ghost platform in the heart of Manhattan. The irony? This project was once marketed as the blueprint for future cities. Now it's a cautionary tale in real time. But it's not just real estate dreams collapsing. In the Arizona desert, a chip-making revolution is already slipping through America's fingers. This isn't just a construction site. It's a battlefield for tech dominance. The US wants advanced chip-making back on American soil. TSMC, Taiwan's crown jewel, was supposed to make that happen. Arizona's desert was chosen for a $40 billion chip complex, the largest foreign direct investment in US history. Phase 1 would bring 5-nanometer chips online. Phase 2 would leap to the cutting edge, 3-nanometer production, and eventually even 2 nanometers. But things are not going according to plan. The timeline is slipping. The workforce doesn't exist. Taiwanese engineers were flown in. US unions pushed back. Even equipment installations have been delayed. The plant's first production line was delayed to 2025. Phase 2 is under review, not cancelled but no longer guaranteed. TSMC's leadership remains optimistic, but off the record, engineers say expectations are being quietly scaled down. The biggest issue? This isn't just a factory. It's a political symbol. A symbol of whether America can rebuild its industrial base, or if it will keep outsourcing it forever. So far, the jury's still out. If microchips are the brain of the future, trains were supposed to be the backbone. But in California, even movement is stuck in place. When Californians approved Proposition 1A in 2008, it wasn't just about a train. It was about climate, about innovation, about beating the clock on traffic, emissions, and a broken infrastructure system. The plan? A 500-mile high-speed rail network connecting San Francisco to Los Angeles in under 3 hours. The result? A patchwork of viaducts and stations, mostly in the middle of nowhere. Fresno, Merced, and Bakersfield are now dotted with isolated rail segments, but the urban cores, San Francisco and Los Angeles, remain disconnected. Land rights disputes, environmental reviews, and political turnover have dragged the timeline well past 2030. The original budget tripled. some supporters still believe it's possible. And to be fair, the engineering so far is world-class. But the real issue? Funding. The state needs tens of billions more to even think about linking the coast. Meanwhile, other countries are building entire high-speed rail systems in less time than it took California to build a 171-mile starter segment. For now, the future of American rail is stuck in neutral and sinking into the dust of the Central Valley. Head east from the stalled viaducts of the Central Valley and you'll find another megaproject, one that paved over mountains only to hit a wall of its own. In Phoenix, the Freeway is king. The South Mountain Freeway was billed as the missing link, the final leg of the Loop 202, designed to ease traffic, boost freight mobility, and connect a booming metro area. But to build it, Arizona blasted through the South Mountains, land considered sacred by the Gila River Indian community. Despite protests and lawsuits, Phase 1 was completed in 2020. Traffic relief was real, but so was the backlash. Now, any future expansion is politically radioactive. Environmental groups have vowed to stop new segments, tribal leaders demand accountability, and the public is increasingly skeptical of highway expansion in the climate era. The price tag for future phases continues to rise, but funding is no longer guaranteed, and with growing pressure to invest in transit instead of asphalt, the next chapter of this freeway may never be written. The physical road may have opened, but politically, the project is at a dead end. And across the Pacific, an island paradise wrestles with a megaproject that promised freedom from traffic, but delivered a mess of delays and mistrust. Tropical skies, ocean views, a concrete guideway snaking across the island of Oahu. The Honolulu Rail project is the most expensive transit build per mile in US history, and one of the most controversial. Originally envisioned in 2006, it promised to cut traffic, connect communities, and modernize Hawaii's crumbling infrastructure. Construction began in 2011, but right away problems emerged. Sinkholes, archaeological site disruptions, utility conflicts, and contractor shakeups. Budgets soared from $5 billion to over $12 billion. Timelines moved from 2020 to 2025 to beyond 2030. Today, only 10 miles of the 20-mile route are operational, and key segments, including the airport and downtown, remain years away from completion. Critics call it a runaway disaster. Supporters argue it's still Hawaii's best shot at future-proofing transit on an island with limited space and limited roads. But one thing's clear, HART has lost the public's trust. And without new funding or stronger leadership, the rest of the project may remain frozen in time. In paradise, even the most beautiful infrastructure, dreams can fall apart. From Oahu back to Manhattan, the story repeats. Big promises, bigger budgets, and nowhere near the finish line. Penn Station is the busiest transit hub in the Western Hemisphere, and arguably the most hated. For decades, New Yorkers and commuters have begged for an upgrade. What they got was a $22 billion vision called the Empire Station Complex. The plan? Expand Penn Station, modernize tracks and platforms, and surround the station with 10 new skyscrapers, transforming Midtown into a next-gen urban hub. But that vision is quietly collapsing. The real estate market cratered. The project's anchor developer, Vornado, pulled back. And critics say the plan was more about building luxury towers than fixing the station itself. Madison Square Garden still sits on top of Penn. The new station redesign remains unapproved, and the surrounding land still full of aging buildings and legal battles. Even New York's own budget documents now list the Empire Station as on hold. For a city that never sleeps, this megaproject may never wake up. The money's uncertain, the vision is fractured, and Penn Station, once promised a second life, is still waiting in the dark. 6 megaprojects, 6 warning signs. And across the country, time is running out. Delays, lawsuits, market shifts, and public backlash. In the United States, they've become the new normal, even when the stakes couldn't be higher. From high-speed trains and chip plants to unfinished stations and frozen skyscrapers. These projects show just how hard it is to build big in America today. Some may still be saved, others will quietly vanish. Which of these do you think will survive, and which one is already too far gone? Let us know in the comments, and subscribe to Structures Unchained for more deep dives into the world's most ambitious and most fragile megastructures.